We met when I was living in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I would come home roughly every winter, like late December, January, February, and I'll spend that time with my family. And on one occasion, I came home. It was year. What year was it, baby?
2015, I think. Right?
No, it was 2015.
It was 2014.
2014.
Yeah.
See, we got it at the same time. It was 2014, and I met one of my homegirls who was in the area as well. It was her junior year of college. She was finishing out. She did something similar to me. She was in New Orleans for a minute and decided to go back to school in Elizabeth City. So,
Elizabeth City, North Carolina, by the way, for those of you who are unfamiliar. It's near the Outer Banks, on the water, on the coast between North Carolina and Virginia.
My friend, I said New Orleans. That's Louisiana, by the way, in case you all didn't catch that. So, I met up with her, and when we met up, we just, caught up and stuff like that, and then I was like, yo, my mom keeps telling me about this Caribbean spot. I have not been there yet. So she was like, cool, let's go check the place out. So we go downtown Elizabeth City. I didn't even think anything was down there because there's not a lot of stuff to do in Elizabeth City. But we go to this Caribbean spot. It looks really nice, cool on the inside. And we sit down. I think I got like a jerk burger. My friend got jerk wings. And then we got like a couple sizes of things. And then out of nowhere, I see her ugly face come in. And no, she was very pretty that day. I just remember I was like, Linnea? She was like, Ron? Because it was one of those things like I didn't think, anybody was here in the city. And especially after following her on Instagram for a while and her following me back on Instagram, I thought she was like, up in New York and all these other places. But lo and behold, she was right there. So anyway, I asked her, I was like, what are you doing? She was like, oh, this is my parents' restaurant. I was like, what? First thing came to mind was like, can we get this for free? But no, she was like, oh, let me go just put this stuff down. And like, we have never like really talked at this point at all. Even though we went to high school together. Oh, plot twist. Yeah, I didn't know that. So we went to high school together, but we never talked to each other because she never approached me.
No.
That's why we never talk.
Ron was super popular. And also, I was a year ahead of him in school. I skipped the 5th grade. So, I was always in the same classes with the same people, so our circles never mixed. But also, I was kind of a lame in high school. Ron was too, but we just didn't talk, like literally never one word in the 3 years that we were in school together.
Yeah. So, I knew of her as Linnea when I was in high school, but like she just explained, we never talked. I think after we got together, so I'm gonna skip a whole lot, we were like on Facebook looking through our messages, and there was like an invite I sent her to a party or something some random year, and like that's probably the most I ever spoke to her.
He was like, what's up, ma? You gonna come through? And I was like, I think I was visiting from college because that was my freshman year, and I said yeah, but my parents weren't letting me out of the house, so I never showed up. From college, yeah. But that's a video for another day. But you gotta rewind now because you gotta go back. So
I know where I'm at.
Okay.
So we're in the restaurant, and so she was like, "Oh, let me go put this stuff down." And in my head, I'm like, "Wow," because it's like, she's here, and then I'm like looking across at my friend, and my friend's there. I was like, "Yeah, this Elizabeth City, like, got some cool people here, you know. At least the people, you know, I talk to. There's a lot of other people in the city that are awesome too. A lot of homeboys and whatnot. But you know, some people that, you know, you really connect to on like a spiritual level, or you really want to connect to. So Linnea was one of those people I kind of like wanted to connect to, and my friend, she was like someone I already like connected to. And Linnea comes back, and she just like plops down right beside me. And then we just literally, all three of us just start, you know, chit-chatting and talking. And it's crazy, like, you know, I was thinking in my head while she was there, I was like, she hasn't asked if this is my girlfriend, if I'm on a date. She hasn't asked. She just made herself comfortable right beside me.
I did say when I sat down, I was like, I hope I'm not imposing.
So when you say I'm hoping I'm not imposing and then sit down anyway, y'all tell me what that is. I'm hoping I'm not imposing.
If you would have been like, yeah, we're on a date, we'll catch up with you later, then I wouldn't have sat down.
True, I guess. Anyway, unbeknownst to her, unbeknownst to me as well, but she sat down and we just, you know, just started chit-chatting and whatnot, and, you know, I forgot all that we talked about. It was just catching up about life. And after that, you know, we exchanged numbers, and she was like, well, I'm heading back up to New York soon. And, you know, I told her, well, you know, I'm heading out to Atlanta for a conference, but then after that, I'm moving back to Minneapolis, Minnesota, or going back, not necessarily moving back, but going back to Minneapolis, Minnesota. But I was still in town for a couple of days. So while I was in town for a couple of days, and she was out in New York, I hit her up. What was it, like a couple of days later? 3 days later?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, because remember I didn't get it until...
What happened to your phone?
Yeah, my mom was mad at me, so she turned off my phone.
Her mom was mad at her, so her phone was turned off. So she had a text message from me just sitting in there. I had pretty much was like, hey, it was really cool linking up with you. When you get back here, let's, you know, let's go grab drinks. You know, that's how, you know, I introduced it. And her phone finally gets turned back on.
Nah.
What happened?
I turned on some Wi-Fi and I generated a number with one of them apps, and I texted you and I was like, hey, this is my number for now. Because I wasn't about to explain to him that my mom turned my phone off, so I was just texting him from, like, I don't know, a 718 number or something.
I saw one of my friends there, and this friend she was a little too close for comfort as far as, like, so I'm there, you know, chit-chatting with Linnea, and I see my other friend, and she just comes like, Ron, and like is this close to me, and, you know, just like right up on me the whole time. So, you know, I'm sitting down in a high chair, Linnea sit down in a high chair, and my friend literally comes right in between my legs, and it's just like, have you been? And just like this the whole time. And in my head, I'm like, you know, I'm thinking the same thing I thought when, you know, I saw Linnea the other night with my other friend. It's like, she didn't ask if I'm on a date or, you know, what's going on. She just literally like all in my space. And
but in all fairness, they went to prom together. They were really good friends in high school. Prom doesn't count. But y'all were friends in high school. It wasn't she was some stranger or whatever.
Of course not.
But yeah, she should have asked. I mean.
So now you know. You just said she should have asked. Anyway, y'all, I proved the point, and that never happens. But so, you know, she's like really all up on me, and like, you know, it was a couple times where I had to like pull Linnea's chair like closer into me, even though I was just out getting to know her as a friend. Like, I pulled her like much closer in to kind of like block off my other friend from coming in, because it seemed like her awareness level of what was going on around her was completely off.
She had a few drinks anyway. So
she had a few drinks. But she was really up on me a lot. She's still cool people and whatnot, but it was just a funny night. Anyway, after we leave there, we go to the car, and because I drove her there, Or did we drive separately and we just went and chilled in my car?
We drove separately.
We drove separately, so we go back to my car and we're sitting out in front of this like bank that was downtown, and we just like sitting down in the car and we're just playing music and whatnot. So, you know, I played a couple of songs for her, tried to put on to some new stuff, S.G. Lewis, and you know some other stuff I found on my SoundCloud that I vibe to. But so that was the first, you know, date, I guess. You know, interaction. There was so much. It was the first interaction that we had. You know, outside, just mano y mano. That's what we got. So she, you know, gets a ticket. Y'all know, from like Virginia area going to New York. Hop on the Chinese bus. It's like $40 one way.
Actually, 30. Don't raise it.
$30 one way. You know, take the overnight bus trip. You get there early in the morning. It's the cheapest, best option. Some people on the bus a little dirty, maybe, but you know, I usually go up there. Had our little masks on, gloves, hand sanitizer. You good? Anyway, I drop off at the bus, and when I drop off at the bus, this was a debate for a long time. I give her all her bags and everything. I, you know, help her load into the bus and make sure she get a good seat. And, you know, I give her a hug goodbye.
Well, I think because I almost missed it. Remember, we were like rushing, because like when we pulled up, the bus was already there and everybody was on the bus.
Yeah. But you still got a good seat.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So we're outside the bus. I'm putting her bags on. I give her a hug, and when I give her a hug, she kisses me, and of course I kiss back. But like, you know how people like they say, you know, you come 25 and the other person comes 25, and then you know y'all both come and it's like a 50. You know, it was like 25, 50, 75. So for the longest time she tried to like, you kissed me back. I was like, yeah, after you had already came the full distance. So like, you know, she was feeling some sort of way, you know. So she departed with me, you know, with the kiss. But I can't say after we like kissed the first time, you know, kind of just stepped back and like looked at each other, and then, you know, I did come in for the second, like, had to make sure that was real, like, okay, that was real type deal. And I didn't know how I felt about it at the moment. You know, it was a lot of things I was thinking about, because, you know, she was so cool as, you know, a friend and whatnot, and I'm one of those people where, like, getting into intimate relationships, like, messed up some of my, like, friendships with women, so I didn't know necessarily how to feel about it at the time. Anywho, she goes off to New York and whatnot. I go back home, and we're just chatting, you know, throughout. You know, we're just chatting for like a couple days after that. Really sending some like our text messaging was just like very like spiritually poetic, and it was over the top. But it was cute. It was really cute. I'm hungry.
You want me to stop the video now?
I don't know. I just want to go grab a croissant while I talk, but I don't want my mouth to be full. Anyway, so help me fill in. What happened next? Because how do we get to the point where? Did you come out for Valentine's Day or around Valentine's Day?
I came back to North Carolina for something. And then that was the time that you had to go to Atlanta. And you were like, you said something about your flight being hella early, like I think 3 or 4 a.m.
Wait, you skipped some stuff. Alright, so she comes back to North Carolina for some reason. When she comes back, it's February 14th. It's around Valentine's Day she comes back. She probably had to help her parents out at the restaurant. They usually do like a Valentine's Day thing at the restaurant. So she probably came out to help her parents out at the restaurant. So I had this conference coming up in Georgia, and this was around February 17th, 18th, around that range. So she volunteers to drop me off at the airport. The airport's like a good 40-minute drive, not too far. It's in Norfolk, ORF. And she drops me off, and it's just like, well, it's been really cool hanging with you. When you get back, I'm going to be in New York, and I don't know when I'm coming back. So she dropped me off at the airport. I make it to Atlanta. That's what I always do, the red-eye flights with the buddy passes. Those are easy to get on. And while I was in Atlanta, I'm just going to skip everything that I did. But while we were there, what happened was one night, I think this was on like the final day of my trip, of my conference in Atlanta, we were on the phone, and she just drops it on me. She goes to to a place where it's scary for a lot of people, men and women alike. She says on the phone, she's like, "Hey Ron, I really love you," and I froze like a deer in the headlights. I didn't know necessarily how to feel, what to say back. And when that happened, I think more so than anything, like, she was embarrassed by me freezing on the phone like that. I said something, but it wasn't "I love you" back, and I think for her that was embarrassing, because she kind of became vulnerable. And then she just starts crying on the phone. She was like, I'm sorry, I'll talk to you later. And then I hang up the phone, and I'm just like, what just happened? But so yeah, I met up with some homegirls that I did a cabin trip with. I met them crazy way. We met in Miami randomly. That's a whole nother story. But so I met up with them for drinks and food at, what's that place? Hooters. And while we were there, we were talking about this chick right here. And it's crazy. As soon as I brought her name up, one of the girls was like, "Wait, Naya Johnson?" I was like, "Yeah, you know her." She's like, "We went to undergrad together." I'm like, "Oh wow, she knows everybody." So I started telling them about the situation, kind of what happened with Linnea, and they were coaching me through it, and I was just being an open book. I was just taking everything, and I was like, yeah, it's a crazy situation. It was not really that crazy when you think about it, but it's just it's complex. That's a complex situation. Maybe that's the same thing as crazy. What happened was, like I said, I did karaoke. After that night, I got back to the hotel room. My flight was in probably 5 hours, maybe 6 hours or something. It was an early flight, and we were getting in pretty late. And I think while I was out, and even when I got back, I had been thinking about I just had so much fun with Linnea over the course of the past couple weeks. I didn't know what that future looked like without her, after she told me that, look, let's, we had fun while we lasted, while it lasted, but she has enough friends, and with us, we can go our separate ways and whatnot. And then honestly, for me, it was it was an easy way out, but at the same time, I wasn't ready to be done with, exploring, what we had. So for me, that fear of not knowing what could have been or could be, I just knew that I wanted her in my life at that point. So I called her back, and I think she's halfway asleep. She probably is asleep all the way. And I was like, "Hey, I know we agreed we wouldn't talk or anything like that, but I just really want you to know, I don't want to go and not experience, my life without you. I want to make this up to you somehow." Because even though it wasn't my fault, it was still some sort of way on me. Guys, it's usually on you at some point, I guess. So I was just like, "Look, I'll change my flight right now. I'm gonna come to New York, rather than going back to New York City." And like, and
What else did you say?
So we were on the phone, and I was like, I love you too. And I was like, I didn't mean to put you through that and embarrass you. I was just like, let me make it up to you. And I asked for her address, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna change my flight. And you know, she's still halfway asleep, but she was like, you playing? I was like, no, I'm for real. Like, I'm gonna come to New York. I was like, what's the closest airline to you? And she was like, JFK, you playing? So, you know, she's like, you know, she's still like, you know, just giving me all these directions and whatnot, but she like doesn't believe it.
I think he ended up flying in LaGuardia.
LaGuardia, yeah. Reagan.
Reagan's in DC.
Yeah, I'm sure. I get on the plane, I fly into LaGuardia. We get to LaGuardia, and I hate flying into LaGuardia at nighttime. I never fly to LaGuardia at nighttime again. It is out in what is the same as the sticks out in the country. Like, it's just out in the bricks. Like, I don't know. It's just out there. I'm like, there ain't no good public transportation or nothing. The buses stopped running. Everything. Like, you know, of course I could have called a lift and stuff, but it was just really out there. Yeah, it was sketch out there. So what happened was I called her. I was like, hey, I'm here. And she was on a bus on the way to meet me. And she finally gets there. I think I had to wait like 20, 30 minutes maybe, but it was cool. And like when I see it, it's just like the biggest hug. Like, I don't know, like it felt like going back home after a long while, even though I just saw her for, you know, a couple weeks ago, or a week ago at that. And the next day I met up with Linnea. And I remember, like, I woke up late, I feel like, because I grabbed my bag. I travel light, y'all, like one bag. I grabbed my bag, and I am sprinting down these New York streets, trying to make it to this bus on time to meet her at the specific time I told her I was going to meet her. Because the next bus doesn't come for like, they come pretty frequent, but it was still like, it was still like I didn't want to wait. And, you know, so I'm out there sprinting, like, out of breath, running with these bags and boots on. It was cold, too. It was snow on the ground.
It was New York cold.
Yeah, so, and in my head, I'm like, why the hell are you sprinting right now? Another bus comes in, like, 15 minutes or something. So, I was like, just really ready to see her. And I was like, yo, you tripping. Like, this is weird. But, you know, I make it onto the bus. You know, I sit down and I'm all out of breath when people looking at you. No one's looking at you funny because everyone be on some weird shit in New York for the most part. I make it to where she is, and where you at? Off of
cross street from Kings County Hospital.
Yeah. So just right over by Kings County Hospital. I'll make it over there, and I remember she buzzed me up, and I get up there, and I remember, like, I still have the picture fresh in my mind. Like, we took a lot of pictures, but it's mainly one picture that we took, and, you know, we hugged for the longest time in the doorway, and we finally sit down, and then we just sitting there, like, kissing and talking, and she was just like, so do you want to make this official? It was so cute. And I was just like, I was hesitant. I was really hesitant, y'all. Without getting too deep into it, I was talking to some other women, and I was hesitant because I wanted to have like a talk with each of these ladies and like let them know, like, you know, what I was doing in my life and the path that I decided to take, and why maybe to them in that moment I wasn't shit, and just, you know, but just give them the peace of mind that they needed to like move on. before I just announced, to the world, like, me and Shorty kicking it. And because my feelings for Linnea was more than all those other situations combined, I basically said fuck it. And I think I took a snapshot of one of her pictures, and I was like, hey guys, meet Big. And my phone started just going off the hook, ringing, and notifications, and she did the same thing right after me. And I don't know, she just started this whole like little black love epidemic on my social media feed and on hers. And
well, I think because you guys have been following me before, Ron. I was always forever alone in terms of, like, I'm always just like, oh, I'm a single black woman. I can do that all by myself. Not necessarily I don't need a man, but I am fulfilled without a man. So the minute Ron showed up on my timeline, y'all just started spazzing. They were like, oh my gosh! And he's chocolate, and he's black, and he's beautiful. And then next thing I know, you start showing our pictures of us more love than you start showing me. And I was like, alright, I guess. And so I think that's kind of like when we became a thing.
Yeah, so, and I remember that was February 21st when we made it official. So February 21st is like our actual anniversary.
Yeah.
I'm talking at the same time. It's just creepy. So February 21st, our actual anniversary. But we decided that like when we really started truly kicking it, it was February 14th on Valentine's Day. So we decided to go with Valentine's Day as our official anniversary. So every time 21st comes around, it's like this movie made it official. But February 14th is when we celebrate. So that's the story of how we met. Happily ever after.
So yeah, now we've been together a little over 3 years.